Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nur Maulana Shah Karim Hussaini Hazri Ma. Please, Ya Maula, help us, Maula. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal Maula wa ni'mal Naṣīr. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal Maula wa ni'mal Naṣīr. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil ونعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير. Ya Maula Meherban, we all have gathered here, Maula, to learn the pearls of wisdom, Maula, from these books, Maula. Ya Maula, the beautiful chapter we are going to study today, Maula. Ya Maula, be the light on the tongue of this Nachis, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Maula Meherban, please help us, Maula. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Once again, Ya Ali Madad to our friends. And today we have reached in this book the last chapter, Ascent of Soul. And we had started this book study, actually this book, which is a fifth book on our forum we've been discussing this year in January. And we do change, go back and forth different books because we are doing Book of Healing. And I was just looking at the books we have studied. The first book we started was in January 2021. And Book of Healing is our sixth book, which we are studying as a group. And Ascent of Soul, I think this is the smallest book, but I personally felt the concepts in this book were so major that we had to repeat a lot and go slowly to understand the concepts given in this book. Today, we are going to discuss the nature and the reality of light. Again, very broad concept. So let me first share my slides so we all are together. The nature and reality of light. Wonderful topic, but I wonder how many of you have done the pre-reading. And those who have not done the pre-reading, what are their expectations? What is our objective? Yes, first is to understand this chapter given in the book. But other than that, why are we studying this nature and reality of light? Do we not know the light? You would say, yeah, we do know about Noor. Imam is Noor. We have understood that the ilm is Noor. So we do know Noor. Question is, do we? And then when we study this chapter, how are we going to benefit and call ourselves that we are now knowledgeable more about the Noor, the concept of Noor, in context of desiring to ascend our own soul. The name of the book is Ascent of Soul. The reason we are gathered here, by studying this book, we will learn how do we work or what do we do to ascend our own soul. Yes, we are studying different examples from our, prophets, Natik, and understand how did they go through the journey. But in reality, each one of us is here to learn and to grasp this concept that how do I climb the stair to go up the ladder. So let us start this chapter and we pray to Maula that we all get to learn and realize and recognize where and how we can climb up and how fast can we climb up. So the nature and reality of light. What is the meaning of light? We all know it is to shine, to illumine, to see. One moment, I need to fix this. to shine till you mind. Wherever we have light or lamp in our home, we will have no darkness, we'll be able to see. We all understand that. But when we talk about Noor, Noor of Imam, why does Imam have Noor? What do we need from that Noor? It is, excuse me, the light of guidance. Imam being the Noor, he is the Noor for us to guide us. He is the light of guidance. Imam is the fountainhead of knowledge, wisdom, and certitude of recognition. But in terms of Noor, when we say we are seeking Noor, the Noor of guidance, the light of guidance, what is that guidance? What is that Noor? In reality, it is knowledge, wisdom, and having this yaqeen, certitude of shanakht, of recognition, that we know our Imam. That is the Noor of guidance. It is also meaning that when we follow the religion, we live in this world, the wellness of it, it comes through the light of guidance. In the book of healing, we had learned that we established actually that we all are ill. When we don't have the knowledge, we all are ill and we are seeking wellness. When we have the light of guidance, we are in that zone of feeling well. Well-being of the religion at the broader sense and the world, but well-being of our own self as well. So the light of guidance, when we are trying to understand, it is not a small concept. It is a very broad, big concept. Again, when we say, okay, we are understanding the light of guidance, but who is that light? Who is that personality? We do know very well. It is Imam-e-Zaman. Imam, who is in the human attire. He is the Kamil Insan, perfect man. When he comes to this world, he is Imam, he is Kamil, he is complete, he is perfect. And he comes to this world to guide us. He is the living and present in the world as true guide. Imam-e-Barhaq, Hazir-o Mawjood, to guide us. However, when we look at ourselves and look at Imam, physically we all look alike. He is human and we are human. And when we know about ourselves as human, and when we see Imam as human, getting sick, having family, and sometimes when we look at the human aspect of Imam, we may miss the mark, meaning that we are looking for that Noor in the Imam. The body, the physical body, is the veil, and we are seeking to see behind that veil. It is not Zahir what we are seeking. We are seeking the Batin. And that is why our Peer very clearly said, Ekaj fikar munivar amne tamari, manas rupe sahib jano ji. Or respectful or true believers, we have one concern about you, and that is that you might confuse Hazir Imam in his physical form as an ordinary man. He is no ordinary man. Does not matter if he looks just like us as human, but he is complete Noor. He is perfect man. And when we are seeking this Noor to find what is this light, you know, in Risala dar Hakikat, Pir Shahabuddin Shah says that in order for us to recognize Noor, in order to see what is behind that physical body of Imam, that Noor which we are seeking, we have to become Noor to be able to recognize him. What did I say? Pir Shahabuddin Shah says that it takes Noor to recognize the Noor. Meaning, it is actually about us first. That we have to become that level of Noor that we can recognize the Noor. If we have not reached to that level, we will not be able to recognize the Imam. So the key is that we come to learn who are we, where is the illness, become well, and continue to grow to become the light our own self. What did our Prophet teach us and Maula Ali? Man arfa nafsihi faqad arfa rabbihi. The one who recognizes themselves will be able to recognize the Lord. In that recognition of ourselves, which we are going through this process, through these book studies, that we realize we might be physically healthy, but we have established that we are ill at the level of spirituality and intellectuality. Until we do not purify ourselves and go through the healing process by studying the knowledge of healing, we will not be able to get to become that level of the Nur that we recognize them. So it is a very deep concept. It takes Nur to recognize the Nur. So if we are seekers on this path and we are seeking the Nur, we know what we need to do, become Nur. And Alhamdulillah, in this chapter, we will learn about it, inshallah. Divine light. The next heading in the chapter is divine light. What is that divine light? Remember, he is perfect and living from every aspect. He is the living light. Our Imam is the living light and he is the perfect. When we look at ourselves, we are imperfect. What we call our intellect, needy intellect. He is complete, perfect, though we are needy. So that is the differentiation. His guidance is actually free from any kind of doubt. When we study his farameens and we understand his farameens and really obey the way we ought to obey, there will no doubt in our beings. The doubt comes because of the darkness. When he guides us, there is no darkness. There is no doubt at all. In the light of his guidance, not only do the realities of the heavens and earth become clear, and it becomes unfolded for us. When we are looking at this talim, all these talimat are unfolded. They are like this. However, when we continue to learn, then it becomes open for us. So all this knowledge, when we look at all the Quranic verses that he has created heavens and the earth, but with time we learned it is not just this heaven which we see, we think above us, and this earth. There are so many tawilat and understanding. But in the beginning, for us, it was like this. But now it has become unfolded. The further we go in the journey, it continues to unfold for us. But in the beginning, everything, every concept is unfolded. So this is how he gives us this guidance. It is unfolded. Depending on the level of our soul, it begins to open up within our being. However, it also talks about when we go into this knowledge and seek the light of guidance through divine light, this light teaches us of the beginning and of the end, the first and the last. So who is the first and the last? Apparent and the hidden. The first is Prophet Muhammad, right? In this cycle, we are saying this cycle is of Prophet Muhammad. Who is the last? Qiyam is the last, when the cycle is completed. So what we are learning, that through this knowledge, we are able to learn the subtleties in our tariqah, which are there hidden from our eyes. Why? Because we don't have the knowledge. It is his light, which is omnipotent. He is everywhere, in every respect. And when we look into the Quranic verse, so we studied that guidance from, free from doubts. And this Quranic verse, 21/104, it says, the day when we will fold the heaven like the folding of a sheets of records, as we began the first creation, we will repeat it. A promise binding upon us. Indeed, we will do it. Meaning that Allah's habit doesn't change. In every point in time, there is a new cycle which comes and Allah continues to repeat it. He creates and he continues to create. So for us, what we are understanding, the day, whenever the day is mentioned, the day is alluding to the time of Qiyamah. Whenever the Qiyamah will come, heaven, what he will do? He will fold the heaven like a folding of sheet of record. Very strange verse, meaning that cycle begins and the cycle completes. When it begins, when we are able to see, it is unfolded, but then it is folded again. This is his way of creation. He creates and he repeats it. And it is his promise, it will continue to happen. When we look at this, another verse, 27/61, is not he best who made the earth a fixed abode and placed rivers in the folds thereof and placed firm hills therein and has set a barrier between the two seas? Is there any Allah beside Allah? Nay, but most of them know not. Now, very interestingly, when we look at our planet, we see rivers and whatnot, right? All what we see in our planet. And we also see different seas, you know. All these are there. But this verse is saying that all what we see in the physical world, they are all our signs. Do we see that this world and all what we are seeing, it is due to somebody else? Who is the creator behind all what is happening? Is there any other Allah beside this Allah? No, there is one Allah. But most do not know that Allah is Noor-e Mujarrad. He is the pure Noor. Hazir Imam is the Noor-e Mujassam. This leads us to discuss about kinds of light. We've understood that Allah is the Noor-e Mujarrad and Imam is the Noor-e Mujassam. He has come to this planet to guide us, to be the light. He is the living, present light, divine light. Now, we've understood that aspect of it, divine light and the guidance part. Now, we are discussing what are the different kinds of light. And of course, we all know we are discussing the spiritual or religious light. Spiritual or religious light, not the material light. However, whenever we talk of that light, spiritual light, how do we describe it? How do we define it? It is very difficult. So we have to take different examples from our material world for us to be able to understand that. And one example given here is of lamp, 24/35. Allah did not give the example of sun. Why? Sun is far away. Lamp in everyone's home, accessible. And the beauty of the lamp is, if we look into, the old lamps, when we had diya or candle kind of lamp, we can lit another lamp from that lamp. Meaning, the Noor of the Imam is like a lamp, which is accessible in our reach, and that Noor can lit the light in us as well. We all have a spark, but it is not full-blown light, full-blown lamp. With the mercy of Imam, when we are Farman Bardar, we are obedient to Imam's Farameen, we can also become that light by becoming one with the Imam. So this is the beautiful example of a lamp which we understand. But in Quran, example of sun is not given. Why? When we listen to our lectures or we look through the examples, we always refer to Imam as sun. We always refer to Imam in our planet as sun. But then in Quran, the example is given of lamp. So why this difference? We understand now that lamp has the qualities which we are able to comprehend. Meaning, another lamp can be lit from that light. It is accessible. Sun is far away. And if we were to go near to the sun, what will happen? We will burn. If we were to have sun coming near, heat coming near, we do know in California there are burns. Why? Because of sunlight. Dry places will just lit fire automatically and it will burn. Why are we talking about this light? It has a positive potential and it has a negative potential as well. There is a difference. When we are talking about positive potential, this lamp, this light is such that it can lit within our being as well. But then it can also burn. It can also burn like a fire. Both are characteristics of light. Why we are talking about it? Let's relate it to Maulana Hazir Imam's speech, which we heard this Saturday being discussed in great detail. This is the beautiful paragraph from that speech, honorary doctorate degree, which was bestowed upon Maulana Haji Imam at Peshawar University in 1967. And Imam tells us in that speech, the day we no longer know how, nor have the time, nor the faith to bow in prayer to Allah, because the human soul that He has told us in is eternal, is no longer of sufficient importance to us to be worthy of an hour of our daily working, profit-seeking time, will be a sunless day of despair. Sunless day of despair. If there is no sun, there will be no light. There will be no light. So, at one point in time, we are talking about the example of lamp, but then we also have to look into our physical world and take the example of the sun and see, due to our sun, how our planet is thriving, how we are living and nourished because of the sun. These are different examples and different allegories helping us to understand different concepts which are in Batin. If we were not to pray, this is a speech Imam is giving to Ummah. If we will not be interested in learning about kinds of light and how does it apply to us, we will be in a situation where it is a daytime, but there is no sun. Constant despair, despondency, naumidi, and we do not want to go there. So we continue to discuss kinds of light. It is very interesting to realize, to learn that there are 3 different kinds of light. We thought Imam is Noor and that is it, and we have to become Noor like him. But very interestingly, when we talk of this light, concept of light in religion, in Ruhaniyat, there are 3 different types of light. In other words, we are saying it is one light. In reality, it is one light, but there are 3 different aspects of it. And these aspects are ethical, spiritual, and intellectual. Very interestingly, ethical, spiritual, and intellectual. And we will discuss each one of it. So let's study this farman of Maulana Haji Imam. And Maulana Haji Imam gives this farman in Nairobi, Kenya, March 13th, 1997. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Keep the ethics of the faith as the path by which you live your material lives, so that you do not wander in the material life of every day, that you keep your ethical principles strong and clear from generation to generation, because that is the essence of life. And as I have said, the material life may tend at times to shade or perhaps to blind to the reality of physical human life, which is that the only part of life which is indefinite, eternal, is the existence of the soul. This farman, very clear in context of ethics. The first light which we are going to learn is ethical light. Ethical light, ikhlaqiyat, hamare ikhlaq. And Imam has given so many faramins about ethics, ethics of faith, which covers everything. And here Imam is emphasizing that not only us, we have to learn about ethics of our faith, but we have to teach it to our upcoming generation. And this should be transferred from generation to generation, these ethical principles. Why? Because that is the essence of life. So if we are seeking Noor, the first level of Noor comes from ethics, from taqwa, which we have been studying in Book of Healing. This is the first type of Noor. If we want Noor, we have to become ethical. If we don't have ethics, we don't have the Noor. Forget about the higher level of Noor. No matter how much we are praying, we are missing the foundation. That is the first step. And that is ethics of our tariqah. And Imam very clearly saying, if we were to give importance to only material life, what it will do? It will blind us. And what we'll think? The reality is only physical human life. That is not correct. The essence, the eternal existence is of only our soul. So if we are concerned about our soul, first thing which we need to do is to follow the ethics, taqwa. Now this is the same slide. There is no change as per se. I'm repeating myself in the slide, but I have a funny diagram for you all to make you all smile. And this is inspired by one of the friend, Dilshad. I'm not sure she's here today or not, Dilshad Zindani. When I was preparing these slides, somehow she asked a question. And wonderful reflection with question relating it to, book study and different lectures. So I was very impressed by her question. I said, SubhanAllah, you did a very good job of understanding. And here she says, no, I can't remember. I can't do this. I can't. And I was like, we all think like that. This funny picture is depicting each one of us, including me. Very imperfect picture, but it is us. This is who we are, imperfect beings. But you know what? We have hope. Why do we have hope? Because everything is possible with Him. Nothing is impossible with Him. If we are on this path, if we are seeking knowledge, no matter how weak, imperfect, incapable, full of flaws we are, how many weaknesses we have, if we are seeking the light and we understand how we ought to follow this guidance, He is with us, His du'ashes is with us, and no one can stop our progress. So it is okay to look at ourselves as full of flaws. But remember, it is a good idea to look at Him as well and to see that He is perfect, He is complete, and He is with us, guiding us. So this is just to give you a big smile. He got us. He is with us. We continue with this existence of light. So before we go further in our discussing these three types of life, first let's understand the existence of light. Very interestingly, where does the light exist? We were hoping to learn about the light, and what we learned, that first step is ethics. Now, how do we see ethics? Where do we find the light? Where does it exist? It exists within us. How? We have to realize that as humans, we are in three parts. We have our physical body, we have our soul, and we have intellect. And we've understood that when we pray, when we have Ismaili, it is for our soul. But what we are learning, when we are talking about ethical light, or ethics being the light, that comes from our own body, our own action, our deeds. That's where we demonstrate our ethics. What we learn, it is through knowledge. So our existence is at three levels, right? When human existence is at three levels, the universe we live in is also at three levels. And we know these terms: Aql-e-Kul, Nafs-e-Kul, and Jism-e-Kul, universal intellect, universal soul, and universal body. Aql-e-Kul, Nafs-e-Kul, we normally hear these terms. This is another term, universal body. Jism-e-Kul. So these three terms are actually three universes existing, just like our body. Our body is a, essence of our universe. We do know that from Maula Ali saying that you are looking at the universe and you think of yourself as a small being. The whole universe is within us. So when we say we have body, soul, and intellect, this universe also has three parts: its body, its soul, and its intellect. Very interestingly, there are three worlds as well. And these are the world of human beings, which is called Nasut, the world of angels called Malakut, the world of divine attributes called Jabarut, and then the world of unity of God, oneness, and that is called Lahut. And we have learned about it, so we do not need to discuss it right now here. Let's go further, and we have heard the term personal world. We thought there is one personal world, but today we are learning, no, there are darajat in personal worlds as well. So the world of body and humanity, so our body and the humanity, the world of spirit and spirituality, the world of intellect and knowledge. What are we saying? That within our personal world also there are darjat, again, body, spirit, and intellect. All these examples show that the light of guidance also has to be at 3 levels. If everything is at 3 levels, the guidance also has to be at 3 levels. So that man or human can equally benefit, receive from the guidance of Imam. First at the level of physical body, then at the level of the soul, and then at the level of intellect. So guidance, 3 kinds of guidance. Very interesting, right? 3 kinds of guidance. So we need guidance at the level of our body, level of our soul, and level of our intellect. So the light of guidance that which Imam is himself is the light of guidance. He is that divine light. It comes to us not only for our soul and intellect, but it also comes for our body. And when we look at Imam, when we say he's a perfect man, he's a living, Noor, we say it's batin, it's not zahir. So what do we focus on? We say his Noor, his soul, and his intellect. And we somehow may not give importance to his body, his physical being. But he is Noor at all 3 levels. He is Noor at all 3 levels. He has come to this physical world in his sacred body. His physical being is also Noor. If it were to be possible for us to, be guided for our soul and intellect without a physical body, then Khuda Ta'ala would have sent angels whom we could not even see because angels are not visible. But what did Allah Ta'ala do? He sent his Noor in the form of living Imam who looks just like us. Our prophets are Imams. They are the living divine guide on the face of the earth. Why they are in the physical body, why they have to go through all these hardships which we go through as humans? So no one can say, oh, how would you know what we are going through? You don't have what we have. Imam goes through the same cycle of life. Birth, growing up, family, marriage, all the physical illnesses, and leaving this physical world in the physical body. Noor remains one and same. The key point is what we need to realize that his body is also sacred. Therefore, in the physical world, it is the body of the true guide. It is the Imam, his physical being, who can act as a light for us. It is only the Imam who can act, being in the physical body. We all are humans, we all look alike, but none of us can get to that rank. We have to understand that. The reason we are discussing this, so we are clear what we are discussing. All of us are humans, but the rank of Imam is the highest most. In his body, he is the Noor. He is the sacred body. He is the guide of the time. So we understand the light of guidance. The first light of guidance is a physical light. That is why when Imam comes, his tashrif comes, when he gives didar, he visits us, we say the whole planet, whole our country, we are blessed because he has physically padramani of Imam in our country. So we get so happy that every mushkil will be asan because he has come so near us. Physically, he is also Noor. So initial aspect of the light of guidance, or it is the physical light. The initial aspect is a physical light. We do all know about him being the Imam of the humanity by coming into the physical world as human, and also being the Imam-e-Muttaqeen, the Imam of the righteous, by being in the physical world in a physical body. Meaning we are saying that his physical body is also full of light. Do not be mistaken and miss that mark. Wherever he is Noor. Now, continue to discuss about the ethical light, ikhlaqi Noor. We do know that when we lack ethics, what do we see? Bad habits, darkness, being in darkness of unethical behavior, unethical acts, lying, cheating, deceiving, business or anywhere, any form of any kind, it is all due to the darkness of not having this light, ethical light. And it can only, this darkness can only be removed when we have the light of good ethics. Light of good ethics. It is because of this need of ours to have this ethical light, God had sent our prophet, holy prophet, and his character is known for us as a role model. Quran says in 68/4 that verily you are on exalted standard of excellent ethics. We do know his taqwa was role model for everybody, even now. Next week, the speech we are going to study on Saturday is about Sirat conference. Imam is talking about Prophet Muhammad. So we have to realize that the blessed personality of our prophet had come to this world as the exalted standard of excellent ethics. He was known as Amin or Sadiq. What does Amin or Sadiq means? Does it only means honest? No, it means also trustworthy. It also means loyal. All the characteristics of ethical behavior were present in our prophet from very young age. If we want the noor of our Natik and Imam, what is it that we need to do? We are able to understand from this example of our prophet. And do we remember that story? A lady throwing trash on our prophet and prophet never complaining about it? Can we imagine ourselves at that place? Something to think about. Ethics are so important. Holy Quran has called our prophet as luminous lamp, Sirajum Munir. In 33/46, he is called Sirajum Munir, meaning luminous lamp. When we talk of luminous lamp, the lamp itself, the physical body of the lamp, it relates to first the physical body of the personality himself, that he himself is blessed and sacred. His personality is blessed and sacred. So those fortunate people who attained the light of religion from him by being with him through his personality, they were blessed. They were blessed. In other words, what we are saying, that this luminous lamp, which was sent to the people of the world, to do what? To spread the light of humanity, light to the humanity in the form of giving them the teaching about the ethics. Our prophet, our imam, wherever they go, people praise them. Very different human beings. They are humans like us, but their ethics are unfounded. And we are mu'minins of imam. So before we receive the light for our soul and intellect, according to our own human body, we have to understand that first Allah created our body, then soul, and then intellect. Meaning, the first light which we can receive from knowledge, from Imam, when it comes to us, he gives faramins. The first light which we receive is physical light. We can only absorb that light either from knowledge or didar of Imam, darbar of Imam, being in presence of Imam, when physically we have become light. Otherwise, there is a barrier. There is a barrier, though we are in presence of Imam, we are sitting with Imam, but that light will not penetrate us because our being, our physical being, is actually in darkness. Is unethical acts are filled with this within this body. There is no ethics in this being. That light which comes, it will not penetrate the being. So I hope we understand why we continue to talk about this blessed personality of the prophet. He was the role model, and those who were with him, they were blessed. How were they blessed? By seeing him, how he was extremely excellent example of ethical behavior. So today when we are seeking the Noor, we are learning about him, his example, and our example of our Imam. What we see is excellent ethical behavior. And if we are seeking that light, are we ethical? We can never get that light if we don't have that support in our being of ethics. The first Noor, the first level, the first light is of ethics. What does Quran say? The light of guidance is compared to a lamp, the luminous lamp, Siraj Munira. It is actually included, the lamp is included, not only the flame and illumination. What happens when we look at the lamp? We think the lamp inside the flame and the light which is coming out. We ignore the lamp itself. What we are learning right now, that the lamp has to be taken into consideration. If that lamp is not in the clear glass, the light will not come out. Why our Prophet are being called Siraj Munira, luminous lamp? He was clear, crystal clear in his physical being. Meaning, when I'm saying crystal clear, his ethical behavior was beautifully shown to everybody. That light was shared with anybody and everybody who came into contact with him. The light, the flame, and the illumination was within that body. But first was that vessel, that body. So I hope that we are able to understand that by the example of the Prophet, we are actually talking about learning about ourselves, the importance of having the ethics, because our first level is of our body. And when we look into this verse, Ayah Nur, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Allah nuru samawati wal ards, right? You know this verse. What does it imply here? Because this vessel of the lamp is on the niche. It is only that clear, beautiful lamp will get that position of the niche. And if you remember the discussion of Ayah Nur, niche is above, at the higher level in the room, which is where the lamp is kept. If that glass, if that vessel is clear, then only the light will lit the whole room. Otherwise, we will remain in the darkness. If we are seeking that light, if we want to become that light for our children, our Jamaat, our friends, our families, our employers or employee, if they see us as true Ismaili advocate of Imam, the way Imam says, that I want you to be my advocates. If they don't see that, then the lamp is there, has the ability to be lit. Imam is accessible as well. But this vessel, which is within us, which we are, is in darkness. There'll be no light. And the last verse on the slide is 21/107. Prophet Muhammad had come to this world as the mercy for the world. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He has come to this world as rahmat for all the worlds. Which world are we talking about? This physical world where Christians and Jews and everybody is living? At one level, yes, he came as a nur for everybody, rahmat for everybody. But remember, let's bring it close. We talked about the world and the personal worlds within ourselves. Everything is at 3 levels. So his example, his teaching, his rahmat came for us first at the level of physical being. If we want to understand this ethical light, we have to realize that as humans, there are ethical virtues which we have to follow, which are given to us by our Prophet and our Imam. And if ethical virtues are not being followed, then we see humanity being in darkness. We being Ismailis, we are special, we are different because we are with Imam and we are with his guidance. We are always with light. However, with individual choice when we make and we decide to not be ethical for whatever reasons, we choose darkness. Then what happens? We remain incomplete. We said we are akle garizi, we are partial intellect, we are full of flaws. We will remain with the flaws because we can become complete without flaws when we become one with his nur. That will never happen because that we are failing at the first stage. So it is very important to realize the importance of ethical light. Ethical light, when it is present, when it is there, then we will be grace, will be granted the spiritual light and the intellectual light, which comes afterwards. It doesn't come first. No matter how much we want to progress and how much we do zikr ibadat. The way we've been talking about that, though ibadat time is only for 1 hour, but if we do not take care of our 23 hours, how? We used to talk about remembrance, because remembrance is one way to keep ourselves reminded that he's watching us. We have to be with him. But now more clearly this knowledge is coming that just by remembering, like through zikr, lip service kind of zikr, in the beginning it is needed to make a habit of doing abundant zikr. But now we are coming at a higher level. Yes, we stay in remembrance mindfully to watch our own self. That yes, I'm staying in remembrance, but whenever I think or I see others, am I judging others? Am I backbiting? Where is my ethics? There's a beautiful Ginan, if I'm not wrong, or something that says that on the tongue is Yali, but in the mind, there is no Yali. Something like that, right? I'm sure you would have heard it. I can't recall the whole thing. Meaning that we feel good about ourselves, that we are staying in remembrance. But if our thoughts are not pure, purified with our behavior, which is of ethics of our faith, we will not be able to progress on this journey further. Ethics is crucially important. Second is spiritual light. Now this, we have been talking about it without realizing the grave importance of the ethical light. We do talk about good deeds, but how important it is in context of having the light, I hope today we have really become clear about it. Now there are many people in this world who are suffering from darkness. Darkness of what? Of Ruhaniyat. Why do they suffer from this darkness? Do we know that? Quran very clearly talks about it. Those who deny the hereafter, those who deny the Qiyamah, they are in darkness. Why? Because they have not taken interest in faith and religion. According to them, this physical worldly life is everything. So there is darkness for them. There will be never ever any Ruhani Roshni for them. There will be no spiritual light. Quran says in chapter 2 verse 39 that those who believe and deny our signs, those will be companions of the fire. They will abide by therein eternally. What? Eternally. And when it is said to them, believe in what Allah has revealed, they say, we believe in what was revealed to us. And they disbelieve in what came after it, while it is the truth confirming that which is with them. Say, then why did you kill the prophets of Allah before, if you are believers? So this verse is referring to those who called themselves Christians. When the Prophet Muhammad came in and he said, he gave the message of Allah, but people did not believe, they denied. They said, no, whatever has come to us from Jesus, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, that is good enough for us. We do not want to accept you. We disbelieve. We do not believe in you. Then Allah is asking that if you are saying that, then why did you kill your prophet? Because who killed Hazrat Isa alayhi salam? It was Christians who killed Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, nobody else. So we have to realize and understand the importance here is that it is within ourselves, it is among ourselves. When we do not have knowledge, when we don't understand the nur of the Imam, we, because of the lack of knowledge, may kill the nur of Imam. This is harsh. I was hesitant to even say it, but actually I'm referring to Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Baitul Khayal Farman, because he says that when you do not follow our Farman, when you do not do ibadat, it is as if You are killing our light. Harsh, but very true. So this verse, when we are studying, though it is referring to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam and people at that time, but in reality, what we are understanding that those people who were there, who Hazrat Isa alayhi salam was teaching, they killed him, and afterwards, after 600 years, when the Prophet Muhammad came in, they said, no, we don't believe you. We believe what Hazrat Isa alayhi salam had said. But how did you treat him when he was there with you in the physical lifetime? It was all afterwards. Meaning, they did not give importance to that physical light which was present. They ignored that. And afterwards, they accepted the Christianity and became Christian, called Christian. Allah's Dīn is one and same. But people called themselves Christian and they said, oh, we are Christians, we follow the word of the Jesus, we will not follow the Prophet Muhammad. And Allah is asking, then why did you kill him? The second verse we have here is 2/91. And when it is said to them, believe in what Allah has revealed, they say, we believe in what was revealed to us, and they disbelieve in what came after it. It is almost same verse, but there's more to it. And they disbelieve in what came after it. Why it is the truth, confirming that which is with them, say, then why did you kill the prophets of Allah before, if you are believers? So almost same verse in a different reference, chapter 2, verse 39 and verse 91. Again and again, same question is asked. Now, question here is, why would Allah repeat himself? Didn't we hear the first time? Did we? Because sometimes we become deaf. We do not pay attention and reflect that this verse is talking about us in current time, talking about seeing the signs which are shown to people. If they don't see the signs, then they will be companion of the fire. After the Nurani Hasti is left, in context of these verses, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, when he had left this world, then they were believing him. And Allah is saying, then why? Later we are believing, what is the purpose of that? And the current Nur, which was Prophet Muhammad at that time, you don't accept that? Khuda Ta'ala repeats himself because people don't understand what is being said to him. Khuda Ta'ala repeats himself because it is not understood what he's telling us. And the last verse is actually, we all know that we have come from him and we are going to return to him. No matter how we behave, we all have to go to him, willingly or unwillingly. If we go willingly, we will be with his Nur. We will be with him. But if we are choosing to not follow the ethical behavior, Ruhani Roshni will not come to us. And when we reach him, we will have no kamai, no earning with us. So from all the aspect, what will be happening to us? Unsuccessful, weak, with flaws. But those who paid attention, those who walked on the path, his mercy will come to them. And through the chain of the light of Imamat, this long journey, difficult journey, will be made easy for them. The Nur of Imam, the guidance of Imam, the Talim of Imam will help them to cross this journey easily. Why? Because they are obedient, not nafarman bardar. It happens step by step. It happens gradually. But ultimately, Mu'mineens are made merged with Imam and they become one with Imam, step by step. I think I'm going to stop here because there is a need for reflection, individual reflection. If we don't do that, then we are not doing justice to what we are learning. So let me stop here and see if we have really understood what we are talking about and we are discussing. Are we all together? Seemingly simple concepts, but actually they are not. If I hear we are good, we are understanding, then I can do one more slide. We have time. Anyone would like to comment?
I think we can, take questions, I think, at this point and see how everybody is doing. It is beautiful and it is very enlightening. At times we always think about it that we are sitting in Bandagi, we are sitting in Ibadat, we are getting our Ismi-Azam, we're trying, and we think about all of those things, how to sit, how to say our zikr and all of those things. But there's a foundation which needs to be created before we start building the blocks and build a building. So it really makes us wonder that how do we get all of these things in ourselves, because it really means, well, that we need to wake up and see, how Sultan Mahmud Shah has always talked about that you need to check your pulse. You need to ask yourselves how you are doing, how your soul is doing. But we have, always looked at the bigger picture, maybe looking always at the results, but the journey is like, the parts and parcel which we need to take along on this journey. We have somehow not gotten those because we were missing that knowledge. And it was very, new for us to hear. There is ethical light, so it was amazing to hear and understand that how important taqwa concept is. We have been thinking and talking about taqwa, but how to imply this in accessing the nur during even Nurani Ibadah time, or to get that nur which we all want so much. So just wanted to let the friends know the chat is open, and you can unmute, you can share your reflections, you can come forward. I would just like to quote a couple of the references which friends had shared. That Ginan was, which you were talking about it, piyu piyu to sab jug kare, पर पीयू ना पावे कोई, मुख जपनता जो पीयू मिले, तो सिर साटा ना होए.
Mukh japanta jo piyu mile, to sir saata na ho. Exactly. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
And then another one which, is very, તમે ઇસ્મે આઝમ લઈને ઇબાદત નથી કરતા, તેથી ઇમામની ઇમામતને કતલ કરો છો.
Yes, that's exactly the Farman. Subhanallah. I'm so happy that, we are getting references as we speak. Alhamdulillah. True, very true. So the reason,
yeah,
Saba, I just want to
yes.
comment, because what you said, I want to really reflect. And, because it sounds simple. And that is the mistake, very humbly, because it is not simple. The way Naveen Sahaba said, and I liked that example, so I want to elaborate more. What she says, that many times we ask, right, how do I sit? How do I do this? And how do I keep my tongue, for example? What would be my position? Or what will happen when I see the nur? Those are good questions. I'm not saying they're wrong questions. But without the foundation, if we don't have the ethics, no matter how hard we work, we will never go further, we will never grow in this journey. Foundation is the ethics, and that is why pick up Hazrat Imam's Farami. Every farman of Hazrat Imam is about ethics, intellect, education, because these all are interrelated. We don't realize the importance of ethical behavior. And, like today, we are living in a knowledge society. Are we ethical with our knowledge? Stealing at the level of knowledge, nobody notices that. Nobody cares about it. When we talk of cheating and deceit, people think, oh, alhamdulillah, now we are well to do. Nobody, is stealing, or those kind of things are not prevalent in our, level. Alhamdulillah. But look at us 100 years ago, 50 years ago, probably, there was compromise in ethics in terms of, petty issues. We may not have those issues anymore. But today's time is the time of knowledge. Are there issues with knowledge? Meaning that the more we understand this concept of taqwa, from beginning, the training of a child, from not cheating, not lying, being honest, to becoming a professional or living in this world at whatever post, in every aspect, observing ethics will make that individual a good moment. If today we have this question, why am I not able to concentrate in ibadat? I hope today we got the answer. If we have kina, hasad, bughaz in our heart for anybody, it will hinder us. It will hinder us. So ethics is so important, and we have been, due to we are learning in the knowledge. So I don't want to say that we are missing the mark, but I hope that we are realizing the importance of taqwa, how important it is. If we are true, genuine seeker, and we want to elevate in this path, and if we are not able to, today we got the answer. Because if we don't have the knowledge, how are we going to know what is limiting us? So that is why I was, trying to go very slow so we realize. And especially realizing in context of realizing the importance of the physical body of Imam or physical body of Prophet Muhammad in terms of, we took the example of lamp. And we've been talking about lamp because lamp is accessible and the light can be lit from that lamp. But how this lamp will reach near that lamp if it is all dark and black? As the first test of ethics is missing. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Friend just had posted a question. What is the difference between spiritual and intellectual light, which leads to spiritual and intellectual didar? What is it?
Very good question, very important. I have two suggestions for you. Why don't you read the book? I think it is being posted in the link, or you'll have to wait for the next lecture where we do the explanation, because we have not covered that. What we have covered, we need to make sure that we all understand that. It'll be beautiful even if you can share your own reflections, because this is not an easy chapter. Do we remember Ismail Ganji in Ginan? What he had learned from that Ginan? That his mother was teaching him to be unethical. And Ismail Ganji, when he heard that Ginan, he said, no more I'm going to be unethical. I'm not going to cheat in my business. And of course, we see how did he elevate? How? Because he realized that he needs to be ethical. Ethics are so important. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I think it's always concerned, when we think, how do we know that what mistakes we are making? Or how do we understand that, you said it beautifully, you said it that the cheating and a lot of things, it's not happening anymore, right? Because we are in a better situation. We have all progressed worldly and, with education and everything. So we understand that. But how are we losing all of those, kamai, which we earn at times because of some of our ethical diseases? And, we have talked about it, thoughts, we sin in our thoughts. And I think it's individual reflection, I believe, that friends and we all need to do in order for us to understand that how we can improve our ethical health in order to receive that ethical light for our beings. Subhanallah, Shana Saba has actually posted Khota Tara Trajwa Ne Khota Tara Tol, the Ginan you were just mentioning about. Subhanallah. Friends, if you have any questions, any comments, or any reflection, if it comes across in your mind listening to the beautiful ethical light which we talked about. Yes, Shabira Saba, you can unmute.
There. Yeah, so, When you were talking, Niamat Sahaba, I was just thinking that the thing with ethics is such a big and broad topic, right? So at so many levels, we can con- conduct unethical behavior in our thinking, in our actions, in our feelings. So I think, in a way, I think we need to know what the standard is, of course. Do not lie, do not cheat. But then I also think that we have to have a way to be kind and human and learn and grow. Otherwise, it could be overwhelming, right? Because we are weak, we're human, we make errors. So what came to mind is, when Hazrat talked at Brown, the Ogden Brown lecture, and the president asked him at the end, is there something you want to share with the students? And I'll just paraphrase him. You can go online and read up the interview. He said that, we all have regrets, but don't hang on to them. Learn from your mistakes, right? And I feel that that's important because it's overwhelming otherwise. Every day we sin in some form or the other. So is that fair to say that, reflect and then ask for forgiveness, could change your thinking, change your behavior? That it's kind of a spiral staircase. We try and keep moving higher, but it can't all happen at one time, as hard as we may try. It could maybe for some people, but I just wanted your thoughts on that.
I agree with you absolutely. And that's why I said that we are weak. But when we are with Imam, we seek his mercy, we pray to him, and we seek forgiveness. Of course, definitely, we have hope. These sessions are just done, Shabira, to shake us up. If we are blindly, or we become deaf and blind and we are sleeping, to wake us up. It is never to say that we don't have hope. Please never, I never intend to do that. But sometimes when we are discussing, it may sound like that. So thank you for pointing it out. No, we got to be kind to ourselves, because yes, we can become very critical to ourselves. Though on one hand, we are saying we do need to become critical. Now, remember, there are different individuals. There are some people who think that they are really good. They do everything right and they know everything and they are really good. For them, it would be an opportunity when, we listen to lectures like that to kind of come out of that dream fantasy world and look at yourself where you are mistaking. And then those who are being very critical, with every mistake, they really beat themselves up, then I would say, no, yes, we are full of flaws, but we have hope. We have Imam's duashes with us. But the problem is that we sometimes, that we may take it for granted. And these sessions, when we, we listen and we read, it becomes a reminder for all of us to wake up and become mindful, because it is all about being mindful and not taking things for granted. When we, have these things available to us, it is very easy. It is very natural, actually, to become, not to take everything for granted until these things are taken away. So sometimes we need to have this wake-up call, just a wake-up call. So we do better tonight. We really recall our sins and do giryazari and seek forgiveness, because we do need to remind ourselves where we have sinned. The way you spoke, Shabira, it sounded that you are very mindful. You're very mindful, very critical. Yes, please be kind to yourself, because you're already aware. All what I spoke was not only to those who are already aware. If we are sleeping, we wake up, and we really need to be aware and become mindful where we are making mistakes. People will do what they are doing, and they will continue to do. Our judgment of them or our thinking bad of them is not going to fix anything but take away our earnings. So there are more than one objective when we talk about these things, to appeal to different, individuals, different friends who are there. Their needs are different as well. So from all the aspects, we have to cover lectures to make sure that everybody is benefiting. So thank you, Shabira, for coming up and, reminding us. I truly appreciate that.
I mean, I appreciate that feedback, but these sessions are to me light. So that's not even the issue, right? It's everything here. I walk away feeling more light because I understand better. It allows me to think more. So yes, there's the other aspect where you're like, okay, how do I keep growing and not beating myself up? But at the same time, for me, I walk away from almost all sessions just with light because it makes me think deeper and harder. So I don't think the session ever takes me down that path. It always brings light to me. I just want to say that. So thank you. Yeah.
Shukran. There is a question, Niamat, in the chat. Please share one of the examples of one having the clear sign of acquiring ethical light during our spiritual journey.
Acquiring ethical light.
Yes. Like what would be the indications?
Yeah. We have beautiful example of our Prophet Muhammad. He was the mercy for the whole world. And actually, it quoted that example. Example of our Prophet being patient and not complaining. Do we not remember that lady she was not a believer, and she lived above Prophet Muhammad. Whenever he would, leave after, shower or cleaning, wearing clean clothes to go to masjid to say his prayers, she would gather all the trash and keep it ready, and she'll wait for him to leave. As soon as he comes out, she throws trash on him, and he doesn't complain. He goes inside and he changes, showers, and goes again with clean clothes to the mosque. Every day that kept on happening until one day it doesn't happen. If it were to be you and I, what would we say? Thank God. But what does he do, our Prophet? He says, why is she not throwing trash on me? So he goes to check on her. Are you okay? What happened to you? And of course, this lady was like, what? I have been throwing trash at me and you have come to ask me how am I doing? And she was sick. So he, takes care of her, supports her, encourages her. And she's seeing his behavior. She accepts the Islam there and there on his hand. She gives him bayat that I am Muslim, I follow your religion. This religion is strange. That I've been hurting you, giving you problem. And you've been patient and not complaining, and now you've come to take care of me? What a level of patience. Do we have that? So sabr, saburi, kamya, daya, what our peers have taught us in our Gyanan, all of those are actually examples of ethical behavior. And we see these examples being demonstrated by our Prophet and our Imams all the time. I don't think there is any limitation of the examples of ethics. I hope this helps.
નિયામત સાહેબા,
Ji.
મને સુલતાન મોહમ્મદ શાહનું ફરમાન યાદ આવે છે કે તમે આ દુનિયામાં આવ્યા છો તો ઘણી જાતના કરજા લઈને આવ્યા છે, પણ મોટું કરજ ઈ છે કે તમે પાક અને સાફ થાઓ. પાક અને સાફ થાઓ, ઈ મોટો કરજો લઈને બધા ઇન્સાન આવ્યા છે. And another ફરમાન he says કે તમારી બંદગી ભલે ઓછી હોય, પણ જો તમારો દિલ સાફ હશે તો ખુદાની મુલાકાત થશે. So I am reflecting to say another ફરમાન that Sultan Muhammad Shah says કે હું સાત જમીન ને સાત આસમાનમાં સમાતો નથી, પણ મોમીનના દિલમાં ખુશી સાથે સમાવું છું. તો ઈ દિલમાં જો સાફાઈ હોય તો જ ઈ સમાઈ શકે ને.
True. Subhanallah. Beautiful. Beautiful. What she said, those who do not understand Gujarati, if there is any who doesn't, that if you are not pure, Imam Sultan Shah says that the biggest task which we have, come to do in this world is to become pure. And that purity is actually about taqwa. And Imam says that I do not want to live in the heavens and the earth, but there is no space big enough for him, he says. But it is in the heart of the mu'min. Which mu'min? Who is pure. So what is that purity? What is that pakizgi? Taqwa, ethics. So I hope that we understand that so many different words, but we've been taught this purity. Have we understood it the way we ought to understand and follow it? We are looking into it today to be able to identify and reflect on ourselves and learn so we can have this first level of Nur, Pakizgi, and then we can go further. Thank you, Yasmin. That was beautiful.
Subhanallah,
Shukar Mola.
subhanallah. And lastly, Sheila Sahib actually, she posted a beautiful speech quotation from Hazrat Imam, and it talks about ethical literacy. And Maula actually gave lots of example what type of things which we need to look for, like, students in their life. Plagiarism is one of those. And it gives a lot of examples, like, so a friend who actually asked Yasmin Sahaba, do read this, it's beautiful, and it's Maula's words to the Ummah, not just Ismaili Jamaat, but to worldwide humanity about ethical principles. So wonderful, wonderful. We'll take one last comment or a question if anybody would like to come forward. Any reflection if you would like to share, or any point you would like to share, come forward, and then.
Ali Madad.
Malali Madad, Zebun Bhai.
Karwala, alhamdulillah. So beautiful, I really enjoyed. And you just said the same words I had in my mind, that Mola Badane Sat Saburi Namyane Kamya Rake, And it's quite hard, but it's good to listen and reminds us, and we keep on trying. Ek kadi ginan bolu.
Please.
सतगुर कहे रे सतगुर कहे रे मिंदे नुरे मिंदर समारियो सॉरी भूली गई अने नूरे रचियो आसमान ते नूर माहेती नूर प्रगटिया जेनु सतगुर नाम रे भाई सतगुर नाम है जिंदा शुक्र मोला थैंक यू
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. તમે તો ચાર ચાંદ લગાવી દીધા. Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah. And a perfect Ginani verse according to what we were discussing. Okay?
Yeah, it was
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Shukr. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Thank you, Niamat Sahaba, for beautiful session. Yes, actually, friend just commented. Maulana Hazrat Imam also talks about light of Rumi quote, light that shines in the eye of the heart, and the light of the heart is the light of God. So beautiful. Thank you, Niamat Sahaba, for beautiful session. Thank you, friends, for joining. We'll all see you tomorrow. There's another session with al-Dīn Sahib for 100 questions. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Niamat Sahaba. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Thank you, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Thank you,
Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad. Thank you.
Yali Madad.
You.
Thank you, ᶜAllāmah.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.